And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Alpharetta Tech Talk. I'm John Ray, and we are in, the virtual studio of Business RadioX. No, we're not inside Renaissance Bank at the moment, but we're still broadcasting great stories of entrepreneurs and folks in the tech world in and around Alpharetta that are doing great work. And I want to welcome one of those individuals today who's been on one of our shows here, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. But he has made tremendous progress with his company. Ron Freeman, he is the founder and CEO of ITsimple. Ron, welcome back.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much for having me again on the show.
Yeah, great to have you. So for those, though, that don't know ITsimple, give a overview of who you are, what you do.
Right. So ITsimple was founded a couple of years, actually more than a couple of years ago, with a sole mission of simplifying people's everyday life. Our everyday mission is connecting communities. We are a software development company that provides a real-time, actually a turnkey offering, which is basically a real-time community engagement platform, helping local governments to communicate with people wherever they are, either if they're on web, mobile, social channel, and all under a single pane of glass, using our government administrative portal, if that makes sense at all.
Well, it does, because, a lot of people have frustrations dealing with their local and state, for that matter, obviously federal, but we won't get into that one, government, and all the various ways that it touches their lives, and you make that really simple. That's part of your name, right? You make that interaction really simple for people.
Correct. I am a big believer that with today's technology, we can do things a little different than we used to do in the past. One important statistics is that across the country, approximately 75%, there's about 21,000 local governments. Approximately 75% of them doesn't have IT at all or contracted externally, in order to provide IT services, obviously to their constituents, serving their local businesses and visitors. With today's technology, we created a platform that it's really turnkey for them. All they bring is content. Mm-hmm. The same platform actually ties with the different medias that people are currently using. Obviously, I always say that mobile is the first thing, because 80% of Americans are using mobile devices for anything online. But a part of that, today we packaged a website, and we're tying with the social channels as well. So instead of, imagine yourself, John, a situation where somebody that covers communications in a city today, he doesn't need to go to Facebook and Twitter and the website and then, I don't really have a mobile app that it's really for everyone, because the way we go to market is, it's my town. This is the name of the mobile app that we built. Mm-hmm. It's really for everyone. It doesn't require registration. And I believe that for the public or public organizations, as you said, state, federal, and government, I think it should serve all of us, regardless to if we have an account in Facebook or account in Twitter, which also comes with a lot of privacy concerns, as we all know.
To say the least, right? I think privacy and Facebook are a contradiction in terms, right? But we won't go down that rabbit hole. But I'm obviously here in Alpharetta. I've used your app. I mean, let's describe what that app really does. I mean, in terms of all the different information portals that you put into one place.
Absolutely. I'll start with thanking Alpharetta. They were really our beta site. We just launched, I would say a couple months back or 3 months back, a new app that brings a lot of new innovations.
Mm-hmm.
It has, and I'll start saying that we have any intention to actually shift Alpharetta users, and we have thousands and thousands of them at this point. So we're going to shift them all to the new app so they can enjoy everything that basically we use. We use that community in order to learn what things to develop, what type of innovations we want to focus on. The new app has a new design, has new section for officials, where our elected officials and leadership in our staff can basically openly share and get feedback via email. In terms of new projects, how they are delivering on the agendas that we elected them to basically pursue for us. We have in-app alert center. And this is a funny story, when Apple, for instance, released a new series of the phones, they took the fingerprint button, if you recall, and we started to get feedback from consumers saying, "Hey, we don't really know how to go back to our alerts. We see something prompt from the city, and we don't really know how to go back because now everything goes with what Apple calls a glance or facial ID." So we added an in-app, like a slider that runs there and show them, the last real-time alerts and urgencies. It actually has things like Metro Aware. We can host multiple cities, and also connecting with a lot of what the city holds as web services, for instance. And I'll just give you a couple of examples here, John. Open records. If they have a digital form now, with the tap of a button directly from your phone, you can ask for whatever record that obviously the local government has to serve us with. And same like e-bills and other web services, if all of that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is what we currently have in the new app. This is what's coming to Alpharetta too.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm looking at, I'm looking at it right now on my phone. What I'm looking at is pretty awesome to begin with, but you're talking about taking it to another level.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sweat there, a lot of hardship. And the answer is absolutely yes. We do have a strong analytics engine that we are listening to. The entire idea with analytics is to be able to look at the numbers and make insightful decisions. Us from one end, and also on the customer side. By the way, now we're working, this is the Alpharetta Tech Talk, so we're also working on AI capabilities, meaning artificial intelligence, meaning, again, that, for instance, we're involving now technologies like machine learning. If people in certain time of a year or of a time, what they're doing now is following COVID-19 news or paying bills, because now it's time to pay property bills or pay for trust services. So the app will know that and basically surface those services, for the consumer before other services for one end. And then the artificial intelligence comes in, and we can recommend, for instance, a communication director, things like saying, hey, during COVID-19, obviously a lot more, more people are looking towards the news flash section or the real-time alert section more than we used to do, and just look at events and, local businesses. And real number today is we just increased from across the board, right? Because we have multiple users in Fulton already, multiple cities, but we increased from 14% to 79%. It means, John, only one thing. People want to hear from their local government. They want to get the real-time updates to be current. And obviously, this is the most important thing that we currently see during this pandemic.
Yeah. So, and that's where I was going. So thank you for heading in that direction. And folks, if you just joined us, we're speaking with Ron Freeman, and Ron is the founder and CEO of ITsimple. So Ron, what a time where a community engagement platform is needed when it comes to COVID-19. Talk a little bit about how this current environment has impacted you and really shown the need for what you provide.
Correct. It really reinforced, what I believe, that when I founded the company, I thought it's already an essential need for just about all of us.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are living in communities, and in a way, I don't want to say we're captive audience, yes or no, but once we elected our community, we're either living in a city or in a county. Unfortunately enough, not the right circumstances, but the current pandemic really reinforced how important community engagement and communications are. Actually, it's key. People wants to hear there are different, types of people, different types of different phase in their lives. Senior citizens, young people, quarantined at homes. It's difficult, but I guess all of us would really like to hear things in real time. I think video today is really king. Watching your leadership, they can shoot out. For instance, today they need to pursue all these different channels they're trying to communicate with. Some of them are tied to social channels, some of them are not. But once you have an app, which is the official one that really serve everyone without registration, without any terms, without any personal information, there are more users, more engagement, and now there can shoot real-time alerts directing people to videos. For instance, you see mayors speaking, addressing their constituents, sharing their own personal stories, working from home. And I guess we're seeing cities really leveraging this as part of this current pandemic that we're all part of.
Right. So you brought on a new client kind of in the middle of all this, or maybe right at the edge of the beginning of all this here a couple of months ago. Talk about that new rollout that you are enjoying right now.
Correct. Thank you very much. And we've been blessed. I can't say it the other way. I think if you would ask me, John, last time I was here on the show, that I would ever imagine that our next client will be larger than our beta site, I would say that that's probably a dream. I thought that most of them are going to be smaller. I'm proud. It's public now to share that we have the city of South Fulton on board. I believe they're like the 5th largest city in Georgia. And they're really working close with them the last couple of months or 3 months or so. A little more, actually. We're seeing them really putting a lot of efforts of bringing the information and engaging, receiving information, receiving feedback from their community. And we're just blessed to be there on time for them.
And one of the things that you were we were talking about before we came on the air was this was a curious time, not just with COVID-19 and the pandemic and the impact that had, but you were able to, you've got a new release, and you talked about that, and this new client has been giving you information that's been helpful as you continue to develop your offering. Absolutely.
I always say, when we're speaking with investors today and different stakeholders, is that we have a users first mindset. And so from one end, we're getting a lot of feedback from the community, and we are always listening. I guide my team. We never let any feedback that we get on the app stores. And by the way, you check Alpharetta on the app store. We're rating above 4 out of 5 with thousands and thousands of users. This is nothing easy to do. So back to your question, the answer is absolutely yes. We have a strong analytics engine embedded within our platform. Again, without jeopardizing anyone's privacy. The city doesn't know, the county doesn't know, we don't know, we don't collect anything. The user doesn't provide anything in that perspective. But we're getting a lot of good feedback from the new customer as well. For instance, they're different in many ways. They're trying to innovate. They're new. And they're doing things a little differently. For instance, I'll just give one example. They have more contributors across the city to the app. For instance, the clerk entered the council meetings and later on published the minutes, video streams and stuff. Parks and Rec, they put the events when they got the events going, because the platform is really built to provide all that in a secure way and they're really cooperating, one department with another, which is something very interesting to see as far as I can tell, and I see a lot of local governments nowadays.
Now, you said something there that I would really like to expand on, because I think it's a hot topic. Well, I know it's a hot topic. It's not my opinion. And that is the whole issue of companies and big tech is guilty as charged on this, selling private data to make money. And we don't need to mention any names, but we all know who they are. And that's their model, is selling personal data to make money. And you just said we don't do that.
Correct, John. Absolutely not. I have background of about 15 years in cybersecurity, and I learned as much. By the way, even the new app, John, when the consumer opens the app for the first time, the first thing that prompts up an app before he can do anything else, there's a little message there, a little dialogue box that says, "It's my town," doesn't require your email, your phone number, your full name. We have a privacy first policy. It's for everyone. Our consumer doesn't need to provide basically nothing. So there's no personal information collection. It's very private. It's very safe to use. And our latest campaigns runs by "It's My Town." This is the name of the app. Obviously, "It's My Town" is for everyone.
I love it. I love it. So that's awesome. Folks, if you just joined us, Ron Freeman is with us, and Ron is discussing the community engagement apps and work that he is doing with the city of Alpharetta, number one, but spreading beyond Alpharetta quickly, it sounds like, with ITsimple. Before we came on, you talked about you're really moving from an app to a turnkey solution. Talk a little bit about what that means.
Correct, John. Thank you very much. So, as I said, we're trying to serve a country, a nation that has over 75% of local governments. That doesn't have IT internally, or not big IT teams, and the ones that they've got already overwhelmed with other things that they have to do. With today's technology, we're really providing them a turnkey offering. It's not just a mobile app anymore. It's really the way we package that is really a real-time engagement platform to help local government to communicate with people wherever they are. And this is the emphasis, wherever they are, on their, the comfort of their home, looking at their desktop or mobile app or social channels, you name it. And all of that, as you just mentioned, it's a package. So if you're a small town today, nowadays using our platform, you don't need to go to Facebook, tweet, for instance, the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, Instagram, all these different systems, and then your website, and then, I don't really have a mobile app of my own, or somewhere I can safely communicate everything that we're doing. So the answer is yes. Our platform today is really packaging it all, and it's a turnkey solution for them. All they bring is content. And here's a great piece of information for you, John. We can enroll city or county, small or big as they would be, in as quick as a couple of days.
Now, hold on here just a second. Now this borders into too good to be true camp here, Ron. Say that again. You can take does it matter what size the city is? I mean, you can take a city and get them going in a couple of days with your application.
With our platform, correct. Imagine once we got them on board as a customer, takes us actually less than 2 days. Imagine yourself, we have like this green button we push, and they're what we call their instance, or they're all automatically showing up in It's My Town. And we are automatically generating a website for them if they are actually deciding to purchase that as part of the package. Some of them already have websites and they plan to join as they go. Some of them want that from day one. In both cases, by the way, we are tying with the current social media channels as well. But now they have a choice. They can decide first of all, they go only to one place, our customer portal, our administrative portal. This is where they control everything in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need to log into all these different systems. And now they have choices. Hey, we want to push that to our website and mobile app only, or, do that alongside with the social media. Now they have choices thanks to the technology.
Wow. That's awesome. Now, Ron, you, I know have, focused on Georgia because that's where you're located. But you can really work with any municipality, local government that you across the country, right? I mean, that here's this show.
Correct. Absolutely. Now we're actually expanding, beyond Georgia. The
Mm-hmm.
team also grown. We got new office space here in Alpharetta. We got, we have, when we talked, I believe it was just few of us. Now we're already, I would say at any point of time, about 15 of us working here and, obviously remotely now, during the COVID-19.
Sure.
But the answer is absolutely yes. We're expanding our wings beyond Georgia nowadays. We're really starting slow. We're trying to take things easy. So now we're really actually extending, mostly in the Southeast, the Carolinas, Tennessee, obviously Alabama. And then later on, we definitely have plans to expand, not just by territory, John, but we saw some demand from different, what we call verticals. Think about HOAs, university campuses, because connecting communities, this is what we do. And communities can be led by sports, being a student, sometimes even, even there's religious, obviously communities, churches, you name it.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter for us. We're enabling them with the new technologies, basically, to better connect with the people that want to take part of this communities, if all that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Now, what I wish you would do is, because I have heard some of these testimonials myself being here in Alpharetta from, the folks at the city of Alpharetta, but I wish you would share, if you don't mind, maybe, some successes that have come out of this for the city, the feedback they have given you. If you could share some of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I believe for the city of Alpharetta, I think one of the bigger advantages was really once we launched the real-time alerts mechanism and followed by what we call the in-app alert center. I think this is where, because even for cities, they're no different than any commercial organization. For them to collect the database or the consumer base, this is the hardest part at all, always the hardest part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with us, since the app is really open, it's really easy to acquire and extend the user base. So we saw a lot of people responding to, obviously, the real-time alerts. You can see whenever the city sends a real-time alert, John, we have a real-time systems. You can see how the bars are spiking. You would see hundreds, if not thousands of people. And, many times I just cross my fingers and say, hey, I hope our infrastructure can bear, but it can. We built it to scale. And this is basically one of the examples that I can share about how the city of Alpharetta is really leveraging It's My Town. And hopefully with the new app and the new, obviously, website app and ties with the social channels, they will be able to leverage features that are currently not existing in the first generation app. So hold tight. We're getting there.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ron. Congratulations on that. So how does I'm not asking for specific numbers, but just in terms of the method and how you come up with it, how does the pricing work? How do you come up with that? Because I'm sure it varies by size of the city and how much content they're wanting to put on through that platform, right? So talk a little bit about how the pricing works.
Great question, John. And I always start with saying, we make it simple. That's why we're named that way. All we've got is one number for them. No, we don't charge them for hosting. We don't charge them for the amount of content they're providing. And in order to serve small as big, without taking any features away, because a lot of software companies, this is what they do. You're smaller, you don't have the same amounts of money, let's say like the city of Atlanta, for example, just because we're naming Georgia here, from taxpayers, obviously, because they're bigger. So they will start taking features away from you. We don't run by this model at all. We provide a single pricing for them based on tiers and the number of populations served. That means that a city that has, 1,000 people or 2,000 people can have the same exact app like a city that has, more than 500,000 in population. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, because you're basically pricing it on a kind of a user per user or potential user model, right?
Population served.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very close to the metric. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, awesome. So good for small cities. Good for larger cities. Come on, let's make it happen with Ron Freeman with ITsimple. So, Ron, this has been great. Congratulations on the continued development of your company. And for those that have heard this, would like more information on how to be in touch with you, tell them how they can do that.
Absolutely. So being in touch with us is very easy. We're ITsimple, so our website is www.ITsimple.io. I'll repeat, www.io. And pretty much, I believe that today, if you just search for ITsimple, you find us rating very high on the search engines out there. But also for our consumers on the show, if you guys are anywhere in the metro area, Alpharetta, Roswell, Johns Creek, Milton, I'm pretty sure that the City of Alpharetta app can be a great use for you guys. So you just go to either the App Store, search for It's My Town Alpharetta, or just go to www.itsmytown.us. itsmytown.us. The other people in Fulton County, in the South Side, if you guys are interested in the new generation, the one that we're shifting Alpharetta to, so that one is even easier, John. Again, App Stores, it's called It's My Town without the word Alpharetta, just It's My Town. And then a website is just www.itsmy.town. I repeat, www.itsmy.town. You download the app and you can see the new app and get a lot of information coming from obviously the biggest city we've got, part of Atlanta, by the way, I believe here in Fulton County.
Yeah. For sure. Well, Ron, this has been great, and really appreciate you coming on and giving us the word on this. This is great. Congratulations on your continued success.
Thank you very much, Don. Thank you very much for inviting me on the show again.
Absolutely. Folks, just a reminder that you can listen to this show on all the major podcast apps. That includes Apple, Stitcher, Google, TuneIn, Spotify, all your favorite apps. Just search for Alpharetta Tech Talk and you'll find us. You can also find a archive of all our shows on NorthFultonBusinessRadioX.com. And there's a little album cover there with Alpharetta Tech Talk, and you can find all our archive of all our shows there as well. Check us out on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, North Fulton BRX on all those platforms. So for my guest, Ron Freeman, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on Alpharetta Tech Talk.